back to the Dan's Golf World Show. We got a lot to go over here today, but the number one topic in the golf scene right now is this pace of play on the PGA Tour. Everyone's weighing in on it. They might have solutions. Who knows if they'll work? TGL, speaking of the indoor PGA, basically, week 4, it was electric. I was there. We're going to talk all about that. Full Swing Season 3 has been announced. One hell of a lineup. I'm kind of looking forward to that. Also checking in on this week's Pebble Beach Tournament, Pro-Am, all of that and in between right here on the Dan's Golf World Show. Gentlemen, have you guys...
Daniel.
Are your Instagrams and your feeds and everything just completely littered with PGA Tour pace of play news? That's all I'm seeing right now. That's everything that's going around. Is that for you guys?
Mine's TGL.
Yeah, mine's TGL too.
Oh, well, good. You know what? That's a little more entertaining.
There wasn't even a tournament this past weekend.
What, where, at TGL?
No, I'm just saying. It seemed like there wasn't even a
Oh, it
PGA
seemed like there wasn't. Yeah, because the news was dominated.
Yeah.
It's kind of true. Well, maybe these issues of pace of play is what's causing the lack of interest in viewership. Because it's starting to get a little out of control. I mean, what did they say? The winners last weekend was like a 5.5 hour round.
Yep.
That's a lot. It's a lot of golf. Gary, I mean, what are you playing a 5.5 round? Like what, like a scramble outing where they've got like every tee box doubled up with an A and a B and you sit and wait like 20 minutes between shots? Like 5.5 hour round is grueling.
Kind of insanity.
It is.
But I do it.
Well, yeah. I mean, you and I, we like to play for 5.5 hours. We just want to get more than 18 holes in.
It's kind of like the warm up. Yeah, no, thank you at that.
You're all good on that. You're not trying to
3 to 4 hours would be wonderful.
What do you call it? The death march?
Oh God, it's so bad. And then when you don't have darts and you're just like, and then when you buy them and you think you bought them and then you didn't bring them and you're just sitting there going every hole like this would be a perfect time for this.
Yeah, the only thing that is going to at least keep your sanity is if you're out there ripping heaters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get it.
What's so funny is I just like was not in that mode at all because I haven't smoked in so long. When he said darts, I'm like, what is he? How does he got a dartboard out there? Is he like throwing darts? I'm like, I want to do this. This sounds like fun.
It'd be a great. You ever see these like accessory add-ons? Like I've seen one where it's like a punching bag that hangs from your golf cart to take your aggression out.
I've seen that.
Well, they should have one. It's called like golf course darts.
That's kind of fun.
And to like occupy your time, you're playing darts, but it's the pun on ripping heaters. I thought it was interesting. Lottie Pepper. She is sort of at this point a golf analyst, former tour player for the LPGA. She put out some very powerful words that I feel like were leading the way in this conversation. And this is how she said it, and I kind of appreciate it. She said, I think we need to, I think we're starting to need a new word to talk about this pace of play issue, and it's respect. Or in the words of, what was the rapper? He called it
RESPECT.
No, he called it
Franklin.
respect. That was his whole thing.
Got some respect on my name.
Yeah, I got to get some respect.
What's her name again?
Lottie Pepper.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that okay?
I always thought it was Dottie. I was wrong.
Well, I thought it was Dottie too, but Josh wrote Lottie in my notes. So I just read.
He's wrong and it's Dottie.
Am I wrong?
Here's the thing. I am such like an android of a host. I read anything that goes on this paper,
You know
regardless.
what? It was a typo.
Hey,
it is Dottie.
And here's
Pepper.
what I'll say. In
It's
my text
okay.
message to you, I did say, hey, make sure we add Dottie's quote. And I actually thought I was wrong. I was like, oh, man, I'm glad Josh corrected
When
me.
it comes to,
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome.
Gary,
I'll correct
thank you for
everybody.
setting the record straight. And
Thank
Josh,
you, Gary.
I will only hold this against you
Just a legend
until,
of the
I don't
game.
know, page 3. And after that, I will be completely over it.
Please
Oh, my
forgive us,
bad.
Dottie.
My bad.
Yeah. Wow. You know what? Cancel the show. Start it over. Let's take it back from the top because we've ruined everything. No, I think that's an interesting point. I mean, she's talking about it's beyond, just timeliness. It's about having respect. And I like that she says, for your fellow competitors, for the fans, for the broadcasts, all of it. It's just gotta be better. I don't know. I think that's an interesting point that you're getting with, I mean, we all know like tardiness, being late for anything it's not about, hey, sorry, I was running behind, I ate up some of our time for the meeting. It's like, no, you're being disrespectful to everybody in the room.
Why did you look at Gary when you said that?
I was here early by a day, so those balance out.
That's true. I'll take full responsibility for that one this week.
Listen, I only want to put Gary on blast one time during a show, and I'm saving it.
There we go.
One.
I'm just kidding.
Like 20.
But in all seriousness, though, here's something I don't really understand. Like,
yeah,
how does it take them 5.5 hours to play around when they're not waiting on somebody in front of them? Like, I mean, what's going on that takes them 5.5 hours?
Well, yeah, I mean, even like when you're playing, on a local golf course, they have rangers out there, and if they see pace of play is behind, they kind of usually cruise through and they can figure out who it is. Where's the big gap? If we see a hole or two with nobody on it, find the guys behind those hole or two, and they're the ones not keeping up pace of play. But I think the problem is it's becoming, it's a cultural thing in pro golf. I mean, you see these guys out there doing aim point where they're like doing the feet and like the fingers and the feet and the fingers and the thing and the back and forth. Well, there was a picture from a tour event, several months back where there was like 3 guys all on the green, like holding up the 2 fingers and doing the thing. They're not the only ones doing it. It wasn't a single group that's doing it. So I feel like it's starting to snowball. There's new things they're trying to understand with distances and wind and all this. And now with what's going on the green and green reading, and it's like, everybody keeps adding a new thing, and then everybody wants to do the thing that the other guy's adding because it's an advantage. And now all of a sudden everybody's doing 500 things, and golf is taking 9 hours to get through a round.
But so here's what I don't understand. So I just happened to pull up pace of play. This is from mayfieldgolf.com, and it's rule 6.7. So I'm just going to read it to you. It says, in Michigan PGA events, we define undue delay as taking more than 40 seconds to play a stroke. Like, so that's in the rules. I don't understand. How are you getting to do your thumb thing into this and to that?
That's
and the
what
500
confuses
different things?
me, is because didn't they set it up to where like the parameters of the timing was then continue like 4 hours? Like,
yeah. Well, and we'll get to this, but this week's TGL match, we saw that Tiger Woods had the first overage on time. We're not getting into that yet, but I just want to talk about, he was moving quick. He had nowhere to go. He was like already where he needs to be. He's got guys helping him read the putt. Those 40 seconds evaporated. There is not a player on any tour on this planet that can do aim point in 40 seconds. I could guarantee that. Impossible. Aim point's like an 11-minute process for these guys out there, and they're doing it over like a 2-foot putt.
Let me just say, when you're a fast player too, like I'm like, just hit the ball.
Yeah.
Like, do your thing.
I appreciate something Brooks Koepka said. They said, you're a fast player. What is it? Is it a conscious thing? Is it just from the way you've grown up? And he said, honestly, he's like, because I hit from a different place. He goes, for me, it's not about way over analyzing. He goes, for me, I want it to be a reactive move. I look at what I need to do and then I react. He goes, for example, crumble up a piece of paper, look at that garbage can over there and throw it. He goes, chances are you're going to get it in or get it pretty close. But if I told you it was for, all the prizes in the world, and if you miss, you die, and you're going to get your elbow lined up just right, and you got to get your stance and make sure you keep your head down, chances are you're going to miss that wastebasket much more than you would have through a very natural reactive shot. And I thought that was interesting that, Brooks Koepka is a fast player, gets extremely frustrated with slow players, but all because he perceives his shot process differently. And I thought that was pretty cool to understand.
Yeah, but if you're taking 5.5 hours,
oh my God,
it's not only not reactive, it's just miserable. Like,
but I was at that. Yeah, you're right.
I know I'm not the greatest golfer by any means in the world, but the one thing I am is a fast golfer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean,
a car princess.
Oh, that's true too.
Now I do. What do you guys think about this? One of the solutions that they're looking at is the potential use of rangefinders.
Why not?
I mean, here's an example photo of Rory using it. He looks fine.
Rory.
Nobody's getting hurt.
I have a question for this.
All right.
What does this do to the caddies? Like, of course,
Makes
you know,
their
they got to
job
carry the
easier.
bag, but like,
Well, but here's the thing. It's one of the steps in the process is to understand the number. The way they generally do that when they're not at a tee box where it's already like written on the board is they look for a nearby sprinkler head, and then they take paces back from that or forward from that, and then they kind of do a little bit of math, plus or minus 3 or 4 paces from whatever the sprinkler head said. Now I have my number. Then the work begins. Oh, Gary's doing a wardrobe change.
It's hot as here. Sorry. So hot.
Guns
No,
out.
I mean, listen, it's a heated topic, and I understand how you could get a little, you
Getting
know,
fuming.
start sweating over there.
I was playing in Alabama one time, and this kid was practicing for like a Corn Ferry tour, and like he was playing the back tees. And I'm like, well, I'm playing the white tees because everybody else is. And he didn't care about this thing, but he was like playing like it was a sanctioned round. And I was like over there, like, I'm going to Dexter you if you don't continue to not hit this ball quickly. Because like I am losing my shit.
Who's he doing aim point?
Oh my, no, dude. And then he's got to walk back 100 yards. And like, I'm like, dude, just, do you have any concern about anybody else but yourself? Sorry about swearing. I'm going to calm down, but it did get me
Wait a
heated.
second.
So don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Wait a second.
Wait, is this the one
You're
bird for the day?
mad that he wanted to play the back tees?
Well,
I will remember this moment
oh
forever.
my God.
Right. Josh,
Remember
we're
when you were in
recording, right?
Yeah,
Alabama?
we're
We're
live.
recording. Okay.
there's a difference though
Thank God. Oh.
between this is a sanctioned event that like has no.
I'd like to make it known
Yes!
here in the studio and everybody else involved that Gary got mad that somebody played the back tees. Thank you.
Can I borrow that this week? with
No.
you? I want that.
Oh my goodness. Dan, you've got to get a sound effects board so you can just press the button
Thank
and
you.
it sounds like
I
that.
do.
For
I do.
sure.
But on this pace of play topic from your tees of choice that makes golf more fun because you play from where you want, the rangefinder. So Josh, you're asking about what happens to the caddies.
Yeah.
Getting the starting number is a small fraction of the process. And the caddy is not integral to like getting that starting number. They're sort of like your brainstorm collaborative partner in what do we do with this information?
Okay.
So great. We're starting with, we know we're 230 yards out. Now we start working together. Well, we do have water up on the left, winds coming out of the right. We do have trouble behind the hole. It's better to be short than to be long. Remember, today's pin that I went and marched out yesterday is in the front corner. Everything's going to be feeding down towards it. So behind the pin is better than forward. So that first number is part of the caddy's job, but it is sort of a small piece in the pie of developing a shot plan. You putting the hoodie back
No,
on?
I'm gonna.
Oh my God.
No, you calm
Sorry.
down.
There's so much going on over here.
There you go.
All right, so I have a question for
Yeah.
you. So I understand that there's the 150 yard markers right over there, and
Yeah.
it looks like we're about 10 yards behind or 15 yards behind it. Are you telling me they walk to that and then walk that back to know the exact number?
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah. Yes.
That's what we had to do in high school, and then you would have to know the green depth. So if you're looking at like a 30-yard green, you're 150 yards away, and the pin's in the back, you got to add like another 15 yards to it. So now it's 145 instead of 130.
Yeah, you'll literally see like, generally like it's usually the caddy who does it, but they look around for the sprinkler head. And even if the sprinkler head isn't like in line with their ball, they go to it and take paces
Line it up.
forward
Yeah.
or back until they're parallel with it.
But-
do some quick math,
The precision
So-
of that, like the 1 to 3 yards difference, because if you do walk it off, you might be 1 or 2 yards off. But this thing's like precise, so I think that would help drastically increase.
Do you know how, like,
decrease scores?
NASCAR teams like practice changing tires.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you think these guys practice their pacing and then they go like measure it out and see like, do you have like a proper 1 yard gate to your step? Like, is that what
Actually,
they're
the good
doing on
caddies
like
do.
Tuesday? You know what I mean?
Well, no, they walk
I
off
mean-
the course like prior.
No. Practicing a
Yes.
step that always equals 1 yard.
Oh,
Because you
I
can't be like
guarantee you that they do.
1 1/4 yards on that step. I mean, over time, that's going to cost you.
I
Without a
will.
doubt.
I will say something though. I am waiting for the day if they bring these things on the tour. Waiting for the day for a caddy or a player to shoot a wrong flag or shoot the flag and it says something wrong.
I know somebody that does that.
did you guys see the clip that came out? Phil Mickelson, Grant Horvat, and Phil is so diabolical. But he admitted in a later round on a later day that he's like, yeah, Grant, remember that 80-yard shot that was really like 110 or whatever?
Yeah.
I gave you the rangefinders. Like, yeah, I already got one over there for you. He's like, yeah, I put it in meters. I'm like, dude, you are an animal. Like, here's like this like cool YouTube golf guy, Grant Horvat, probably, prays 7 times a day and, lives near a church. You're just out screwing this guy. I mean, Phil Mickelson looks at Grant Horvat and his beautiful pearly white teeth, and he's probably like 6'8". I have no idea how tall he is. Phil Mickelson looks at this guy and goes, hey, Grant Horvat, fuck you. I don't know.
I don't know how I would react to that if you.
It's insane.
Well, you and me, different story, but
it's crazy.
And weren't they playing for something?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's for all the guts and glory of YouTube golf. But I think they threw something on it. It was like the winner, like Phil had to wear like the joggers at
a live event or something. Yeah.
Which are actually sick.
But did you guys see that they had their first episode of the 2v2s
with Dustin Johnson, DJ and AJ?
Yeah.
I think that was. I don't know. Was the clip I saw from that? Was that when he revealed the rangefinder?
It might have been.
I don't know. I loved it though. Phil goes to Dustin. He goes, Dustin, a few years back, you actually taught a really important lesson to me on hitting fades. And he was like, it's words you've said that have always stuck with me. And what you said is, if you're going to hit a fade, make sure it fades. He's like, so I've always done that. Thanks, Dustin. I was like, dude, Phil is he never stops.
That's funny.
Dude's nuts. Anyway, so hopefully if rangefinders do make their way into the tour, it is not, we don't have an issue of Phil Mickelson setting everybody on meters. Not that he's there with these gentlemen, but either way, that's,
I mean, if we're looking at like 5.5 hour rounds, which that's what we're watching, I think rangefinders, give them to the caddies. Hey, here's your club. Get ready to hit the ball. And I'm going to tell you the exact number of yards. And we need to like get this going. Like, why can't a round be 3.5?
Something we talked about several pods back was this concept of these. Okay, so we've got the guys who walk around with the group, and they got the pole, and then they got the placards with the names of the players on it, and they follow them around. So as a spectator, I can look and see whose group I'm looking at. Well, on that pole, put the shot clock. Let's get a timer that's ticking around and down. We already have staff. They're already out there. It's not like we got to bring a whole new team of people. The guys walking around with the big stick got their names on it. We know, whatever, who's violating the shot clock. I don't know. If these guys want me to sit down on some meetings, I'm more than happy to. I've got some ridiculous ideas that will never get implemented, but I'd be happy to say them in a room full of important people.
Listen,
that's all I'm saying.
You penalize them 4 or 5 strokes for the first time.
Hey, you know what Brooks Koepka said? We got to start stroking guys. Those are his words.
Hard and long.
His words. We got to start stroking guys. But they said here's the problem is, okay, so a guy's falling behind pace. They'll go up to him and say, hey, I'm letting you know you're on the clock. You're being watched. Okay. So then they do it again. They're like, hey, this is your official warning. And they do it again. And it's like, okay, you've got a 1-stroke penalty. They do it again. It's like, there was something that was like a 5-strike system. Like nobody's getting 5 strikes.
That's incurring more time too.
Yeah.
So it's like just flat out, you get 1 warning and then you're
40 seconds. But I do think that, the TGL thing, Tiger Woods really showed us what 40 seconds really looks like.
But let me rewind though. When Tiger went all those the chip shot at the Masters and all those amazing moments were he took way over 40.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's
remember,
if Tiger did it, that's okay.
The Island Green, TPC Sawgrass 17, where he just stalked that
better
green.
than most.
Better than most. One of the most famous announcer moments of golf. You're right.
Was that 2001? Yeah.
So should they go out in those moments? Should they have flagged him and charged him a bunch of whatever? Because he's got this green with these shelves and all this stuff. And it created one of the most legendary moments all time in golf. I would hate to see, that vanish, but we didn't have the issue back then. So what has happened? What has changed?
Well, but here's the thing. In many, many sports, you have certain time frames and you have times that are clicking down. we're getting ready to watch the Super Bowl here. The Super Bowl is going to be in a week or so,
I
and
didn't know that.
there you go.
Nice.
You know, so well, and when the Super Bowl comes around, it's like they have times. The time's running down. They got a 40-second. They have literally a 40-second play clock, or it can be cut down from that. But it's basically the 40-second play clock, right? So they have to get the play call, get it in, get it to the guys, hike that ball. If they don't hike the ball, they have two choices. They take the penalty, or they got to hit timeout right before they hit the play. So why not put some kind of a shot clock? And I think it would be awesome so if you're playing in a pair, as soon as that second person hits the ball, you start the clock. Now, obviously, it can't be 40 seconds because you're not sprinting to go get the ball.
Here's the thing. If you hit a drive, 300 yards, the clock shouldn't start until I at least arrive at my ball.
No, start it back there.
No.
But just...
You're on
but not 40
you
seconds.
can't get there in 40 seconds.
What are you, the Flash?
No, it doesn't have to be 40 seconds, though. What if it's 3 minutes?
No,
All right, so you have 3 minutes to get to your ball. And then if you want to take a minute and a half to study your shot, well, just hoof it and get there in a minute and a half. Or, maybe it's 4 minutes to get there, or 5 minutes, whatever it takes.
Well, because there is a rule, like, let's say you've lost your ball. You do have an allotment of time to find it. Mm-hmm. So, and I think we're down to 2 minutes now, is the current rule of the amount of time to find your ball, I think.
Is it really?
I think so, because I knew it was reduced at one point.
Josh looked it up.
I'm totally looking that up right now, yeah.
But here's the thing. So it's like, you can't start my shot clock after that guy hits the ball. I still get my 2 minutes to find my ball. Once I find my ball, now I've got to figure out, okay, here it is under a stick. How do I handle this? I mean, I do think it should be when you arrive at the ball. I don't think the pace of play issue is these guys like moseying down the fairway. It's the time over the ball once it's been identified.
And here's another thing. Like Brooks said that he was just reactive and then, he hits out of feel. So like if you watch Tiger and he's like stalking a putt, the way he like walks around it, everything's kind of tempoed. So if you're sitting there like him and Han, now you just put all these insecurities and now that's going to translate into your swing tempo. And it's like, you should just want to play faster so you look like you know what you're doing. So blah, blah, blah.
So let me ask you this. Let's say first in a PGA on a given day with everybody playing, how many times do they quote lose the ball?
It's pretty rare.
Everybody.
It's pretty rare because they've got the volunteers on the sides that like when the ball lands, they're supposed to go right to it and put the little stake in the ground, little flaggy flag.
Well, if you're playing Sawgrass, you might lose 7 balls in a day, and some places don't have holes like that, so you might not lose any.
Yeah, it's not super common anymore, but again, of course, it still happens.
Wouldn't you just love to rail a fan and have it go back into play and be like, and then not have to like look for it, and you're like, oh, it's right there. Like,
here's a glove, thanks.
Not getting
so what if
they about that's huge.
What if they did do the timer from the moment the second person hits the ball? You have, we'll say 5 minutes to walk up to there to hit your ball or whatever it is, or 3 minutes or whatever the appropriate amount of time from the drive because you're walking the 300. If you happen to lose your ball, maybe you get, like in poker. In poker, they have the time extender chips. So like, I need to think about this. All right, so here, I get a chip to think about this.
Like a flag? Like they could throw like a flag on the...
They're like, hey,
quick tea time?
Yeah. Exactly. Something like that. And you get, maybe three for an entire round or something like that. So if you do have a big shot, hey, you get plenty of time to think about it, but you're also not doing it on your 2-foot putt. And you're lining it up and you're looking this and doing that again. And like,
once you get within X amount of feet from the ball, that's when it should start. And it should only start after you are aware that you're by the ball. You can't like not be aware that you're by the ball and you're trying to find it. And then, you were by it. And blah, blah, blah. Yes, Josh.
Question. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Gary.
You're welcome, buddy.
Do you think, and you guys could straight up just tell me no, but do you think the PGA Tour could implement gimmies?
Never.
No, I can't get on board with that.
Never.
Okay.
Because there's nobody in your group that has the authority to do that because they might not be the person that you're coming down to the end of this match against.
Yeah, like somebody that starts at 11 o'clock and you teed off at 7 and has no say so about your putt.
Well, it would be the
understand where
tournament.
you're
I would say
yeah.
like tournament officials would call it a
The only
gimme.
time they do that is when it's like match play or they're playing for skins and
Yeah. And they can't do putter length because you got idiots like Bernhard Langer who's getting gimmies from off the green.
No, that's why.
I'm sorry.
I feel like he could beat you up. So I'm not
Dude, he will destroy me. He's an athlete.
I feel like it would be like
They're like Peyton hula hoops.
I'm sorry.
like if it's within a foot, and tournament staff carries around a ruler or 12 inches.
But here's what's
foot.
insane
Never
is
gonna happen.
we have seen guys miss those 1-footers.
Oh, I know.
Let me say, like, I walk up and I do one-handers all the time from 3 feet, but if I'm playing at like a country club, like a Medina, oh my God, like I might do that, but like if you miss a 3-foot putt, like it might go 20 feet past.
Yeah.
And it's just like you're just sitting there going, oh no.
I do appreciate Justin Thomas took it upon himself to send out a letter to the PGA Tour members, really sort of encouraging them to, I don't know, help enhance the show. I do like the look on his face here. He's like, hey, what are you guys doing? How about we get out here and try and hype the show a little bit?
He's watching people take too much time over the ball.
Hey, Patrick Cantlay is still taking practice swings. Brian Harmon's on his 47th waggle.
He's watching Reed fucking fluff up his
Oh my God.
sand shots.
But it was funny because, he was talking about, years back, he never would have been up for it. He even talked about how Ricky Fowler did it like a round all mic'd up. And Justin Thomas is like, no, that's not for me. Good for him. Great. I'm out here to play this super serious golf. But even he is recognizing that it's evolving. We're competing against YouTube and these highly, highly entertaining shows. We're competing against even the Live Golf product that is now out that is faster paced, music, a lot of stuff going on, these party holes and all of that. And then come back to the PGA Tour and we got Brian Harman still waggling. Still, he's doing waggles to this day, to this moment.
I love that you mentioned how much he waggles.
Dude, they did a
In
waggle
almost
counter.
every.
They did the waggle counter, which is like one of the most evil things you could do is a waggle counter.
Well,
Whoever was sitting back of the broadcast truck running that CG work, he's like, get him, boys.
They
Put
did
it
that
up.
to Nah.
do you know who else had a really bad waggle?
Sergio Garcia.
Bob Does Sports. Bobby
Oh,
Fairways.
really?
Oh my God, this last week?
Yeah.
Dude, oh my, did you guys see that? Who was he playing with?
He was playing with the Bryan Bros and Grant.
Yeah. And it was the Brian Bros Grant and of course Bob the Sports gang. Oh my God, that was so legendary. And for some reason, he was just so nervous that every time he would sort of like step back and forth and adjust his feet, he kept shifting more and more right. And every little like replacement of his feet would keep changing his alignment. So he's like turning and turning and turning. And they're like, Bob. Like everybody behind him, even the guys he's playing against, like, Bob, wait. You're not even like lined up at the hole. And he was like, what are you guys talking about? And he's like jumping and like he has these nerves and these jitters. And then he steps up again and starts dancing his feet and starts turning again. They're like, he's doing it again. And Grant's like, Bob, I out of pure love, I'm telling you, you have to turn left. Like you're not aimed down the fairway. And he steps up, hits the ball. And on top of all of that, just slices it brutally, heads off the golf course over the fountain towards the houses. They lose it. They hit the ground laughing. Like they can't even keep themselves together.
That's like me and you and Brian on 16 at Odyssey. And like,
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
dude, what are you doing? You know you're aimed in the trees. He's like, I know what I'm doing. And he just hits directly into the trees. I'm like,
So here's a question, and I want to know this for future things. When Gary throws in stories like that only I know what he's talking about, do we laugh at him and move on, or do I go back and add context so
Both.
everybody else has a clue what's going on?
it depends. It depends on the
It
vibe.
depends. Do you know how many people he's called out on the pod?
It's true. Rich, what is your thought there? Do I take a moment to build context to that moment, or do we just laugh and we move along? I want to know.
We move on.
Do we move on, Rich?
I think it's a case by case basis.
Okay.
On this one, it's just a move on. It's like, okay,
Okay.
they were playing with a friend. Like, all right, I get it.
And maybe in the future, Rich, you could just be like, hey, can I get some context there? And then I'll fill in the story.
They don't need to know who
Yeah.
we know. Like, yeah, this is
All right,
stories.
all right. It was funny though.
Like so the context, like when he's in the drive-through and goes eating the sandwich that goes through to the other drive-through, the two drive-throughs, like that's context time.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
we need context for sure.
Okay.
But this one, yeah, we'll just keep moving on.
All right.
Oh man.
I'm looking forward to talking to TGL. So
Oh my God,
I know we
yeah.
can't get there yet, but
We- time limit on the time limit conversation.
All right. You know, we're done. We're just kind of wrapping up here before we get to that part with Justin Thomas sending this note out to the players. But here's what I thought was so funny. My favorite part of it all. Scotty Scheffler disagreed. Yeah.
What did the note say?
He basically, okay, let's see here. We're incredibly lucky to have many passionate people tuning in to watch us every week. But let's be honest, the game can feel a little distant at times. On-course personality is the highest ranked driver of interest for young fans, 18 to 34. Getting the younger age group interested and watching our sport could be huge, could be a huge difference in our popularity. And again, these are just like highlight quotes. I'm not reading the whole thing verbatim. The more I've watched documentaries and specials on streaming services on other sports, the more I've come to realize the main reason I love them so much is the access they provide and the insight the players are giving me, a fan of them and their craft. So he's just talking about encouraging the players to lean into it. Like these mid-round interviews, if there's a camera in between holes, if you've got a little mental room for it, stop and give it. Like just talk about your round, where you're at, how you're feeling, keep it moving. If, one of the broadcasters says, hey, would you be up for throwing an earpiece in and letting us walk a hole with you where we kind of talk with you mid-round in a serious tournament? And he's not saying everybody has to do it. He's just saying consider it and maybe kind of lean into that a little bit, because as we're seeing YouTube golf and all this stuff, the personalities, this Bob Does Sports moment is what is making all of that so wildly successful. And then we get out here and we're head down in the zone. Nobody talk to me. Don't even make eye contact with fans. Like he's like, we're going to lose this game. And I think he understands what's happening. He understands what's coming. And on top of all the pace of play stuff, it's just like, it's getting bad. And I see it getting worse. And as somebody from inside the tour, a very influential member of the tour, the pro golf community, Justin Thomas, highly respected, multiple major winner, is going to say, guys, like we got to do something here, because we're going to have a big problem.
5.5 hours.
Here's what I feel about that though.
Hours.
It's like when you play with, like, say you and me, and you listen to music, or like the regular kids, as I call them, where they have to like be having fun, which is fine, and that's what golf's all about. But like when I play with my dad, like the PGA Tour is my father. When you play with my dad, man, you're respectful. Like you there's no mess around. Like, and you respect the game. And he, like, if he misses a putt, he's like, oh shucks, and he's just a cute old man. But like, that's the PGA. I grew up with like that respect and that love and like that yearning to like just enjoy the game. And we don't, and we're so mentally screwed up nowadays with TikTok. Everything's 10 seconds, 20 seconds, because we can't, we got no ADHD is like a health, whatever, blah, blah. Like, that's what I want to get away from. Like, just start enjoying the game the way it was,
But I think
I get what you're saying,
every
though.
single other sport has evolved.
Yeah.
I mean, you listen, like
Baseball.
You cannot not do it.
If the ball is not in play, there's music, there's there's people racing around the outer track in like slushy snow cone suits, and like there's games and giveaways and prizes, and they're doing like t-shirt cannons. And then we get out there and you got a bunch of guys who are like, look pissed off, staring down at the ground and won't make eye contact with fans. And it's taking a year to get through a round. It's like, at some point we have to go, the ratings are plummeting. I mean, they talked about the final round 2 weeks ago was 250,000 viewers. I think reruns of diners, drive-ins, and dives are getting more views than the final round at a PGA Tour event. So I agree with you. I love the respect. I appreciate dressing nicely and having a good time, being respectful, all this and that. But if the televised product dies, then we lose it all.
Yeah.
We got nothing to sit here and talk about. Well, we're going to talk about Grant Horvat, but
that I get what you're saying, Gary, and I get what you're saying, Gary, and I get all that. The biggest problem is, though,
it's all about money.
Well, no, it's not just all about money. It's about viewership. It's about, getting fans into the game. It's about increasing the popularity. You take a look at baseball. Baseball, there's so many, quote, purists that are in your same vein, what you're talking about being a purist for golf. that hated the pitch clock and cannot stand the pitch clock.
I was one
But
of them.
guess what? But guess what? Attendance in baseball is higher than it's been in years because games are only 2.5 hours now. They were getting 3.5, 4, sometimes 5 hours for a game. And this is the same problem we're having. And it's the thing we're talking about is not a 1 week thing. This is 2 events in a row were 5.5 hours.
Oh,
5.5 hours. Like, it's not just like, oh, this one course was a little slow or this one thing. No, this is a week in, week out, 5.5 hours.
Well,
it's
pace
got to
of
be
play
fixed.
that's great, but the music is like when I went to Crystal Tree for the first time, like I didn't play it my whole life, and then when I finally got there, they threw on rap music which I love rap music, but like on the third hole, I'm like, dude, turn this shit off. And like, I'm not even the member. I told the member, turn this shit off. I'm here to enjoy this course, the birds. So like that's what's bothering me about this, because then when you do bring in new golfers, like I went to a scramble last, I don't know, 2-3 months ago. Dudes that got the shirts off with cowboy hats, drinking, but it's like, dude, now they think we're assholes because I'm being a dad. Be like, dude, you can't do that. And oh, we're just having fun. I'm like, oh, are you just having fun? I'm like, dude, shut the up. Like, put your shirt on.
I think comparing a scramble where they got free beers on hole 13, like, in hole 8 and hole 4 and
hole.
2. Right. Like I don't think that's the purest of golf. And I don't think we can, who cares if he's got a cowboy shirt on or no shirt on and a cowboy hat,
I do love, one of the biggest criticisms of Scotty Scheffler is, a lot of people are like, man, it's just too bad there's not more personality behind this talent. Cause he's one of the most winning players that we've seen in years. But with that, he's kind of just a pretty low key kind of a guy, never controversial, anything like that. So I do just find it funny that when Justin Thomas sends out this note to his fellow colleagues in the tour, but hey, man, maybe we all step it up a little bit. The first person to be like, nah, is Scotty Scheffler.
That's the worst.
He's like, I'm doing fine.
Yeah, he's like, no, I think we're doing the right amount.
Disagree with you?
I feel like that's the worst person to disagree with you.
Yeah.
Like, especially like players on tour.
Absolutely.
The number one guy. But the thing is, too, it's like with all the mic'd up stuff, it's almost like they think that the broadcasters don't know what they're doing. Because, of course, they're not going to try to talk to you when you're on your approach, ready to hit the ball. They're going to talk to you after the shot as you're walking. It's not like they're going to be like, oh, hey, Scotty, before you hit that ball.
Yeah.
Right.
And then there's like, honestly, if you think of it from a business standpoint, there's going to have to be like a contract signed that if we do give you this earpiece and you do screw up this hole, you cannot sue us for screwing up your job that day because you also said that you were a part of this. I don't know.
This is all your
Hey,
fault.
unless you give me this mic. No, I gotta stop swearing.
Yeah, you've done a lot.
Yeah, what's up with you
Just
today?
believe.
I think 'cause I threw that
so
big one out.
hard.
I did. I threw a big one out there. And I might have.
It's like probably 30% of me in the pod is me going, watch your mouth, watch your mouth, watch your mouth, watch your mouth.
Wow.
So one of the things that talking about the earpiece thing is, I think that not every player is good at the earpiece. I think it's a talent with having the earpiece. And I think I know we're talking about TGL in a minute, but we're seeing that a lot with TGL. They all have earpieces in, and the announcers are trying to get some stuff out of them. But like, these guys are professional golfers. They're really good at golf. Being a broadcaster and talking on camera, that's a whole different thing. And so not all of them are good at that. So you got to kind of pick your place. And, maybe Scotty Scheffler, he's just not very good on the mic and he doesn't want to talk. So he's like, no, we can't do that because he's not good at it.
Yeah, but then like people, they're gonna hate you if you do and hate you if you don't. And like Scotty Scheffler's one of the most respectful, and it's like he's a perfect family. Like it's like crazy to me.
Well, and the funny thing too is he's awesome in press conferences. He's a lot of fun. He's a nice guy. Always gives big full answers. Like there's been a few times I've been in a lot of these press conferences now, and I throw out, I don't know, I'm not the kind of guy who's like, can you tell us about how the wind affected your shot on hole 8? Like, I'm not.
Sweaty balls.
You're right. Like I asked him in a press conference, had he used his gold medal as a ball marker yet? You know what I mean? And he laughed. And he kind of just went with it and gave me a fun response and had a good time. But I asked Terrell Hatton in an interview after John Rahm had to pull out of the U.S. Open. I said to him something to the effect of, I was like, listen, I know you and John Rahm are friends. You never want to see him injured or anything like that. but was there any part of you that was maybe a little relieved that you don't have the force of John Rahm out there? And he was just like, no. Not at all. He goes,
So dumb.
I would never. He goes, I didn't even think that a little bit. I was like, of course you didn't think that. I'm like, we're trying to have fun here. This is fun.
And I'm calling
Terrell Hatton.
and I'm calling BS on that
My
because
God.
You
I
cannot
know
not
for
subcon- yeah.
sure. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Like,
consciously
he's one of the best golfers in the world, and now we don't have to face him.
He would have complimented him more by going along with my joke.
Correct.
Then, like, honestly, I think everybody's terrified when John Rahm's out there.
That's
Like,
the age of social media. You're so afraid to joke around too. You
Oh,
know? It's
my
like, dude, I'd be like,
God.
oh yeah, I hope that his hands fell off.
go throw a temper tantrum and smash something, Terrell Hatton. Jesus. And I mean,
Dude, it's still
nothing
so-
against the guy. I kind of like him, but it was a frustrating moment.
No,
Okay.
not at all.
Yeah.
That's a you answer. Like I'm trying, and you just don't give me.
Yeah,
I'm like, you know
no.
what?
No.
Yeah, whatever.
It is still so crazy with how dominant Scheffler's been, and like when you compare to like Gary Shirt, good old TW, how he has to be like for the next 100 years still be on number one to catch him. It's like
Oh my
1,000
God,
weeks.
yeah.
Like
2035.
is that what he's got? He's got to be number one until 2035.
Non-stop.
Like,
So Tiger Woods was what 282 consecutive weeks number one, and then he was at number one for 632 not consecutive, but overall weeks.
Here's what I'll say. Scotty Scheffler has any hope of doing that, he needs to stop making raviolis. Okay?
I don't know this story. What's going
did
on
you
with
see
raviolis?
The rest of the details came out of how Scotty Scheffler cut his hand over the holiday break.
Really?
And that devastating wound. And I had said it was from the broken glass
Devastating
of a
wound.
wine glass.
Yeah.
And we kind of went
Did you
back and
just
forth
make
on
up
that.
your own
'cause-
shit?
No, that's what it was.
SpaghettiOs?
I had said it back in
Wait,
December.
what was it?
So
Go ahead, Josh.
he was making fresh ravioli.
Homemade, fresh
Homemade,
pasta, you name it.
And at the place that they were staying at, they didn't have anything like the cut. So what you do, you take a wine glass, flip it upside down, and that's how you get the dough or
Yeah,
whatever.
you
it is.
crimp the edges to seal the
And-
ravioli.
And
to
when
keep,
he did that, he must have broke it. And
yeah.
now
He's very lucky then.
I don't think
Yeah,
about it. I
wait.
wonder how hard he probably
mean-
pressed down, and it probably snapped from the bottom.
Did you guys hear Rory McIlroy then said later on in a press conference, and he was like, Scotty's done pretty well. Why doesn't he have a chef? And then
Did you hear his response?
Scotty responds, and he was like, actually, I do have a chef. She's kind of cute, and her name's Meredith. His wife, obviously. And I was like,
wait a minute.
Yeah. His wife's name is Beth, so I don't know who he's talking about.
That's you talk about someone who doesn't like being in conflict. That's a borderline answer right there.
Oh, well, I will say, though, like, once again, because Scotty Scheffler's fun in press conferences. Like, he had fun with it. He
I
rolled
love
with
Scotty
it.
Scheffler though. He's just such a good guy.
I like him a lot, too. I really, really do. I so much about him. I like his personality, his charisma, and all that. He gets flack for not being like this crazy fist pump dude, like all that. Like, but at the end of the day, he just seems like a really nice and interesting guy.
And I wish Tiger was more personable. Well, that's how you win 82.
Yep. You also gotta.
Josh,
you also
you're gonna
gotta
be
love.
exhausted censoring this.
I'm gonna buy you lunch.
You also
But on
have
his
to.
way
You also
to
have
get
to
you
love
lunch, he's
Sheffield.
gonna hit the drive-through while he's.
He's gonna go to McDonald's to
Somebody
get
eat your
himself
food.
to
something,
get you Taco Bell.
and then get me Taco Bell, and then also get him something from Taco Bell as he's eating the McDonald's.
Gary, you don't have to take this.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
So, you also have to respect Scheffler that he took a moment during the press conference to compliment his wife. You know, like he's like, I got a pretty hot cook. You know, like
just probably like when he gets back on the jet, like, come here,
you're right.
You earned this one.
I just thought of it.
Kiss on the cheek. That was it.
I know why he's on edge.
Uh-oh.
It's because he's got
Who?
the suns out, guns out.
He does have the
He's
sun's
going
out,
in
guns out.
bro mode.
Well, I'm getting back to like having muscles and stuff, and I'm down to 203 from 226.
Dude, hell yeah.
Appreciate it.
Nice job, bro.
Dude, hell
Appreciate
yeah.
it. Worst shape by life, but the sleeve monster got me, and he's out there. If you see him, don't go by him. Don't try to catch him. Just call the local authorities. Don't deal with him.
You can look at everybody in this studio. There's no
Gary,
such
right
thing
here.
as a sleep monster.
Good job, dude.
Like, but yeah, really nice job. Like
Oh, I
Good job.
appreciate it. Well, say anything. What are you down? My God.
I'm down brain cells more than anything. Okay.
This
TGL.
New Year's is
TGL.
working for us. Good.
Let's get to TGL.
I'm so
Quick
excited.
show of hands.
Hammer.
Who's seen it this week? Did everybody tune
Oh,
in?
Josh,
oh,
I
sure.
together.
Okay, this is
Alright.
hilarious. So, we were supposed to shoot the day before. Conflict, no big deal. So
Sorry,
I'm like,
apologize. That was my fault.
No big deal.
it's no big deal. But I'm like, I haven't really sat down and watched it. Like, I had it on, but I wasn't paying attention. I'm like,
It moved to Monday, which felt a
Yeah.
little different, but
and,
it was good.
Gary spent the night here, and he sleeps in the studio, and
Yeah.
he's on the couch, and I'm like, hey man, did you watch TGL this week? He goes, no. I go, okay, good. I'm putting on the TV, and we're gonna watch it. And he's sitting there like a 5-year-old, just watching
Tiger?
TGL.
Is it Tiger?
Josh is like, how do you stay warm? It's pretty cold up here. I'm like, well, I put the lights all on me and they direct towards me, but like I turn them off after 4 hours and they radiate heat, but the one exploded. I cleaned most of it up, so you should be okay, Josh.
Wait, what?
So
Exploded?
I'm just kidding.
there's two things.
I
One,
don't know.
have you not heard of a blanket? Like,
No, I brought my
Dan has
Snuggie.
blankets. And two, there's a bed in the other room. Like,
Ah.
why are you sleeping on the couch without a blanket and no sleeves
Well,
when you could be in the bed?
that room is really cold. This room, I don't know if I'm allowed.
So
in.
TGL week
Yeah,
4. Rich,
Thank
I
God.
want to know your takeaway. I felt like, we've been waiting for some momentum for the first 3 weeks, kind of wondering how this thing's going to play out. Rich, I just got to know, where did you land after this week 4 performance, if you will?
Oh, I was so excited watching this
Yeah.
week. There were so many different things that were going on that were just like so awesome. First of all, the first time that we had a close match,
Yes.
right?
The whole time.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Yes, the whole time, back and forth, taking leads, both teams having the lead at one point, going back and forth, like absolutely loving that. Kim, holy
Oh,
cow.
my God.
I was getting so pumped. He would hit those
Tom
shots like,
Kim
yeah, let's go.
was made for this. This
Oh.
is why he was put on this planet.
So good.
TGL.
Dude,
Dude, he took it up that next notch. Like
Yes.
the entire energy every
Yep.
time a shot was hit, whether he was doing the shot, whether it was one of his teammates doing the shot, just absolutely
getting
driving.
on the ground.
And
Yeah.
oh,
Reading
laying
the
on the
green,
ground.
laying down,
Yes.
like
I love that
that-
because
that-
like when I was a kid, that's how like much you put in, and like then you get older and then you have a younger
everything
guy.
hurts.
Yeah, and then
You're
you
just like,
have that
"Ugh."
younger guy, and you're like, love. Oh, God, I gotta really stop.
Woo.
Tom Kim,
sorry.
he definitely makes me feel old.
I was sipping from both my mugs that night. My
oh,
Jupiter
stop it.
Dolphins and my
yeah, let me see the red one.
Boston Commons.
Stop
I
it.
can't, Gary. It's way over here
Oh, you knew I was gonna say that shit so fast.
because it's way over here.
I want
So
it.
it's hard. So am I.
So am I.
Dan, I bet you sleep in the SoFi Center's basement when you go to these TGL matches. What do? Take the used grass and make yourself a bed? You know there is a such thing as a hotel room, right?
Thank you.
If you look closely at the end of each broadcast, you can see Dan picking up unfinished concession food from underneath each seat, so he has food for the night.
That's funny, actually.
And when are you going to bring me? Tiger would like to see an old friend.
Oh God.
We go way back.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you, Gizmo, for pointing out the fact that I sleep in the SoFi Center after each DGL match and look for crumbs underneath the seats. Jesus.
Well,
Had a good day.
we are going, and I'm so excited about this.
Mm.
You and I are going to TGL next
Mm.
Tuesday.
Yes, we are.
Mm.
Yes.
Maybe we should bring Gizmo so we could check it out.
It's high risk, but we could put in an application, see if we can get him a media pass.
Richard, I had a
You
dream
know.
that Dan goes, "Hey, do you want to go to TGL?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, cool, because like Rich, Joe, and Josh can go." And I go, "Fuck it, I don't want to go." And then he kicked me off the podcast. I was like, "But I don't want to be off the podcast." But I'll go, but I won't be happy that I was.
Wait, are we at the point in our podcasting and golf friendship relationship where we're having fights in your dreams and you get mad at me?
Yeah,
Jesus.
1000%.
Yeah.
That means you two are
It's like
spending
you're
way too much
married
time
and your
together.
wife-
Oh my god, for sure.
You know, I will
It's
tell
like
you, there was an additional exciting part added on to this trip down to TGL. I got a little email, you know, the day before I was flying out, and it was an invitation to stick around for an extra day
Nice.
and film some content inside the SoFi Center. And they said, and if by chance you're a golfer, you're welcome to bring your clubs and hit some balls in the SoFi Center. Play the biggest simulator in the world. I want to tell you, opportunity of a lifetime. I was so geeked and so excited for this because every time I've been there, that's all I can. I'm just drooling. I'm like,
Oh, nice.
I'm like,
dude.
just let me hit one. Just give me one chance, one time. You know, and I felt it important because I was like, you know what? I'm gonna bring my clubs because I don't want to show up down there and pick up someone else's, you know, whatever 7-iron and it doesn't feel right and I shank one sideways and take out a screen. Or I don't want to hit someone else's driver that I'm not super duper comfortable with. And, you know, I want to put on my best performance. And it was funny because the evening before I was flying out, I was kind of going through my things. I was like, man, where's my driver? Can't.
Where,
Oh.
What do you mean? Why wasn't your driver not in your bag?
I forgot. You know, Gary's got a couple clubs that are not fully functional.
He's only got like 7 in his bag, right?
He's got a few more.
I walked up to Dan. I'm
gave
like,
him-
"Do you trust me?" And he's like, "I try not to." I'm like, could I use your driver?
And it was like days before, and I like kind of forgot about it. And I was like, I let Gary take it to COG like 5 days ago.
So he texted me at like 10, then
I-
10:30, then
I-
11.
Well, I started texting you around 8
oh yeah.
p.m. and then like 8:30.
8 o'clock the night before?
Yeah. Now, mind you, I'm on a like a 5:15 a.m. flight or something like that. Or no, it was a 7 a.m. flight, so I had to be at the airport, you know, by like 6 to check bags. But I was parking there, so I wanted to be there like 5:30 so I can get on the train. So I'm leaving the house at like 4:30, or about an hour from the airport. And I was texting Gary to get my driver. Nothing back. And then I start kind of like getting it, like the world's closing in feeling. I'm like, oh my God, because like I don't even know where he is if I'm gonna go find him to like get this thing. So then I start calling him and it's going straight to voicemail. I'm like, at this point, it's midnight. I'm leaving at like 4:15, 4:30 in the morning. It's midnight. Again, of course, because I don't get sleep ever. Still nothing. And so I send this like Hail Mary text. I was like, Gary, there's any chance you see this? My flight is at this time. If you see this, just wherever you are, put my golf club outside and send me an address and I'll get it. And
You don't even know where he's at?
No, I didn't know.
Sends him an address to the house he's been to 45 times.
No, but my point was I didn't know where you were. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I was
That makes sense.
at 8 o'clock on yesterday.
That could be anywhere.
Right at this point, it could be anywhere. You live an adventurous life.
Yeah.
You do a lot of things.
You get out. You go outside.
Oh, you get out.
I mean, I've been downtown where I haven't even had a hotel, and I'm like, forget it. And I just close down the 4 or 5 a.m. bars, and then I wake up, I'm like, I might as well go golfing because I got nowhere to sleep right now.
So at my alarm, you know, I wanted to leave my house by 4:15, 4:30. So I'm setting my alarm for like 3:55. And I'm the kind of person who sets like 11 alarms. And I do them like 3 minutes apart, 2 minutes apart, and then I do them 1 minute apart. Like I do 10 of them. And because at some point, once I wake up, I'll just turn the rest of them off. Because at this point, I'm already getting 2 hours of sleep. So there is that chance that you sleep through your alarm.
3:32.
I'm not going to miss it. At 3:32 a.m., I had a text come through from Gary. He's like, dude, I got your driver. I'm at home. Here's my address. It's right on the way to the airport. Literally took me like 4 extra minutes tops. We're talking a window of like a 45-minute window.
The relief you felt, I knew what that
Oh
felt
my
like. And I was like, oh, thank God. Because I was sitting there like this.
Oh my God.
What were you doing all night?
All right, like, well, let's just say I had a long sleeping day. So, like, you know, some
You went to
medical-
bed early.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
fine. You
you
played
know.
a lot of golf. You
Yeah.
got tired. I don't blame anybody.
So-
I've curled up around 8 p.m. and gone to bed.
I
It's
wake up
fine.
and I got my phone like this on the lazy boy, and I'm watching whatever I'm watching, probably House of Usher, and then I'm looking at it. I'm like, I don't want to look at it. I'm like, I don't want to look at it. I'm not going to look at it. And I said that like 7 times. And then finally I'm like, what if something important's happening? I'm like, I better look at it. And then
What
I
if
saw
something super important is happening?
And so I was glad to like, you know,
Yeah.
be able to whatever.
It worked out. It worked out great. And what I love, Gary, because you and I have had so many adventures that this is like the crayons that color the coloring
Absolutely.
book
Absolutely.
of the days of our lives. It worked out
Dude,
great.
I'm literally sitting here while you're telling the story, and I'm like, I have my hands rubbing my legs back and forth. 'Cause
Like
I'm like so
panicking?
anxious. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, are you like you're going to TGL? Like, you're gonna hit the best
Did you hit
simulator
the
in the
driver?
entire world.
I did.
and-
Twice.
And you didn't have your driver. Like, holy.
So here's what I will say, though.
That's crazy.
Here was a massive bonus on top of it, though. When I got there to get my driver, Gary handed me another little fun thing to play with. His new Ray-Ban Meta glasses that record. And so
Oh,
I had
really?
these. I've never used them, and I got to bring them down there, and I got them all working on the way down and whatever. And so I got to film a bunch of stuff like POV style of me doing things that Gary graciously let me take his piece of technology equipment that you probably haven't even used that much. They seemed very like fresh and new.
Put them on for 2 minutes and listen to ISIS, and then I put them down because my phone is,
Yeah, it's fine. So here it is actually from Gary's Ray-Ban Meta glasses, the POV. This is actually me taking the very first swing. And here's the thing, as golfers, everybody knows, warm up. You like to warm up, right? Like to hit a ball ice cold now in the TGL, SoFi Center to this whole thing, people everywhere doing this whole thing. And
How many people are watching?
I would say grand total,
50.
if 50 is a high number, maybe like 30-ish.
Do you have an 8
So,
iron teed
like-
up high as hell right there?
That ball is sitting flat on the
Oh,
ground.
it looks like it's on the tees that we use at indoor.
Oh, no. It's just, it's flat on the turf.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, here's
So-
what you could roll this real quick and kind of get an idea of what it looks like. Couple waggles or two, nervous as could be, commit, take a swing, send the ball there. It's flying. Hey, on a good
Go,
line.
Oh,
go,
I
go.
thought
straight.
I had a chance.
Straight.
Little
Right
short.
in the bunker.
Little
Hey, that's
short.
okay.
But you know what? Here was the thing. I was like, I'm going to club up and swing soft because I am ice cold. Haven't hit a
What
ball
was
in
the
like a week.
distance?
I forget. It was like a 135-ish
Look at
from the
this
first
guy.
one.
Look at that's great.
And then this one, we moved back to the second set of tees. So the one you just watched was from the forward set of tees. This is now from the back set of tees, a little longer. So this is now my second swing in like I said, like a week. But yeah, because when was last time we played? We didn't play the week before. I think we played like Wednesday last week, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a few days. But yeah, here we go. So this, I had somebody else, but you can see I'm wearing the Meta glasses here. Had to hit record. Bingo. Recording, dialed in.
Way to remember.
Yeah. And take a nice little fadey, weak push to the right. Not so beautiful shot.
On the green, though.
Yeah, I got it up. I snuck it up there, kind of.
Fine.
Oh, no,
Up and
just
down.
off the green.
Yeah, a little bump and run.
Look at his face.
Still.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's kind of fun though. That was beyond cool. Just getting to like actually hit on the thing. Like, man, that was
Getting
dream
the
come
hit
true
and
moment.
getting hit and the hitting from the front tees versus the back tees. Is
Yeah.
that a big difference, or is it
No.
like
So here's what they talked about. They said the reason that they did that is because they went back and forth. Like, how far do we put them? We want some ball flight to kind of, that's the purpose of this thing. But, I forgot what the distance was. It was like anything within like 90 yards, you turn around and go to the real green. So
Mhm.
at like,
for real?
the spinning green,
oh.
like the whole thing, like
From 90?
I think so. I can't remember what the number is, but they said the problem we had was if guys are hitting high lofted wedges from the all the way back tee, it's not going to hit the screen. It's just going to go up and never arrive at the screen. It's like, okay, so we need the guys to be farther forward. Like, but it doesn't look as interesting when they're hitting big clubs, hitting driver and all that stuff. We want the ball to fly farther. So they landed on this 2 tee box idea. So that way, when you're hitting those higher lofted shots, it's still going to hit screen instead of just going like up into the ceiling and whatever else.
Let
could
me just
happen.
say, knowing Dan, like Dan could hit 80 golf balls within the last 5 minutes of a rain shutting down when the lights are about to go off, and it,
Fact.
pace
So,
of play?
him like up there having to wait for people to hit and like trying to be polite and not
Oh,
like Dan
you-
could have hit like
you are
45
so
balls.
on point right now. You are so on point,
Always hammer.
dude. Because for real, like there was like me. There was like 7 different like various like content creators invited to this thing to come play in here kind of privately.
That's pretty cool. Only 7 and you're one of them.
Yeah. And it was like, all right, so if anybody, you guys brought some clubs, yeah, if you want, feel free to go over and hit a few balls. And so, of course, no, like me, I'm like, I brought clubs, I want to go first, but I'm not. I'm like, oh no, yeah, you could go or whatever. Yeah, I'll go 5th or whatever. And then like this one dude's like kind of taking a while to like whatever, and they're talking, and I'm like,
I'm going.
I'll just go while you're like, just nobody's hitting, and we have this chance to hit. And yeah, like I was like panicking. I'm like,
how did you do after hitting only 15 balls? And then how long did you stay there after, or did you leave? And when you left, did you go to the range or play golf?
So we were there for a grand total of 2 hours.
Okay.
The time for hitting into the screen was maybe like 30 minutes. Of that 2 hours was our time to hit into the screen.
So you got, okay.
But each person was kind of filming. So like, it wasn't just like boom, boom, boom. It was like,
Let me set up,
here,
blah, blah, blah.
yeah. And like most people there alone was like, hey, could you film for me? And then could you film for me? And then whatever. And the whole time I'm just like, well, how about this? Cool. Like maybe set up your camera over there so I can hit like 45 times really quick. I don't know. I'm not trying to be rude. I just don't want to waste the opportunity of a lifetime.
Just like in sales, the answer is always no unless you ask.
So yeah. And that's probably what I should have went with. But either way, I was trying to be kind. I was trying to be nice. I don't want to like never get invited back. And they did mention I could probably get a chance to do this again. So again, I feel like I played the cards right.
Then you should
calm down.
You should ask to get the whole pod up there and start swinging.
You know what? The guys from
let's test it out with just next week, and then we'll maybe work up to that.
Then we'll know if the whole pod can go. Then we'll like
we'll know.
The guys from Handshake Bets, they've got a great page. They're on Instagram and TikTok. Super fun. They make bets on like everything, like anything. It's just so fun. And there's always this like, which car do you think is going to get to the red light first? The green one or the $5? And they're like, red one, $5. They also do tons of golf content. Those guys were there, and it was fun. I was like, yo, I'm like, what's up, guys? And they're like, Dan? I was like, no way. This is kind of fun. Like, I watch their channel. They watch this stuff, whatever.
We were hitting the other day and somebody walked by and they're like, I'm like, this is cool.
Oh, my God.
I was like, that was so cool. Like, I was excited for it. I was like, oh, this is so cool.
But it was cool because, like, the Handshake Bet guys, like, they gave them the whole thing. And I don't know if the content's out yet or not. Hopefully, I'm not spoiling it. Hopefully, this more feels like promotion because
blocked right now.
They're great guys, great content. But maybe there's a chance someday we could have our own like showdown in there where they give us the space for. I think they had it for like an hour and a half or something. I don't know. Like that'd be fun.
Us two versus them, whatever they want to do.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw it. Did you guys see? I threw up a quick video, a little bit of a locker room tour. That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yes, that was great.
Shoes again.
This time I touched Rory's shirt. I just wanted to touch something different this time and be weird. And I achieved that successfully. I was very weird.
What was funny, like
lost.
Yeah.
When you were doing that, like the whole video, I don't know why, just made me giggle when you like the little shot of the appearance mirror, like when you're just walking, like wait,
yes, you were so happy,
like,
yeah, so giddy.
Yeah, that was so good.
The other thing that I got to do, and I haven't cut this video together yet, but I posted like a sneak peek of it on my Instagram. But they took me inside the broadcast truck.
So cool.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, great. Like that was so friggin' cool. Like as somebody who edits video, shoots video, all the stuff we all do, like, like seeing production at that level and that speed, 70 cameras. But here is one of the cool things I learned I had no clue about. All right. We all have played simulator golf. We have played a lot of simulator golf. And, every time you hit a ball, the camera angles are like in this routine. You hit it, the camera flies and follows, the ball rolls out, end and end. They can control the camera angles of the virtual universe live and in real time. So just like they can go to camera 2 on Tiger and go to camera 3 on Tom Kim, they can also say go to virtual camera 3 so we can see the ball flying from the side. We can go to virtual camera 4, which is like a camera tower behind the green that shows the ball coming in. That they have, I forget, it was like 9 or 11 camera angles in the virtual world that they can switch in between in real time while the ball's flying through the air. I thought that was cool. Like
that's awesome. And we keep talking about how TGL keeps taking the next level and keeps taking the next level. It's brand new and it keeps moving up better and better, right? That was one of the things I really, really appreciated this week was how many like split screens they did. The whole, somebody hits the shot. They had the reaction shot of them watching it go up. And then they also had the ball flight tracker that was going, which that's the first week they'd done that. And that was like, I've been begging for that every single week because it's like, I don't really care. I want to see his reaction, but if I don't see where the ball's going, like I can't enjoy his reaction. I'm just watching him react to something,
like, wow, He must have thought that went well.
Right. And then then I'm watching the ball fly and I'm like, especially in the first part of the ball flight, like, I'm like, is this good? Is this bad? But now when you have their reaction to it, you can see, oh, he's liking this, or oh, he's not liking this. He's nervous. So now I start to get nervous, And then you see it start to land, and then they're like excited. Like
watching
I have to
Tiger get frustrated was like my favorite because like he's so competitive and like he's having a blast, but he's like, dude, people like they have no idea right now how mad I'm.
Dude, how about
what? You know what I'm saying. Because I want to
hammer throw on the green that Tiger accepted. That's what I was about to how about.
That's not what I was gonna how about. Which one did we talk about?
Let's give Rich a how about for 2 minutes, and then you get one.
All right, then all right. Thank you, Gary.
Are we rotating here?
Yeah.
That's.
I love it. My how about is for Gary directly.
All right.
Being the biggest Tiger fan in the world, knowing how he reacts to everything, how about Tiger committing the first shot clock violation?
Okay, let me just explain something, Mr. Kisner, who I respect highly.
Yeah.
Did Tiger ask you to, if he asked you to read his putt?
God.
Okay, cool. But if he didn't, step away from the 82-time 15 major winner that made 1,444 putts out of 1,447
I had
from
to
3 feet away in regulation.
219-pound,
6 ounces.
No, you guys
48-year-old.
Hold on. You guys were not in the room watching this with this guy. Every time it happened, he said something about it, and it happened a lot. He's like, it's Tiger. Get him away from Tiger. I'm like, dude, he's got teammates.
I get it, but it's like you're telling Tiger Woods how to putt at his own event, and it's like that's great if he asked, but if he didn't, but here's the thing that really irked me. You told him how to putt. How about you tell him, hey, Tiger, you got 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3. Nobody said nothing.
Well, I think the tough thing about that is like when he's there, he's over the ball.
Don't care. I
all
know
he has to do is put his putter forward and hit.
Yeah.
And so if you go, hey, there's 5 seconds, and that's when he was like putting the putter forward to hit.
But if you watch Tiger long enough, like you said, he slows out his heartbeat like, Chris Kyle in between shots. Aim small, miss small.
When he said that, Tiger said that in the press conference afterwards because one of the media people asked him, they were like, Tiger, tell us about the shot clock violation. And it was interesting because Tiger was like, I just have my process and I've got to get a little more used to it, and I will. He goes, but, after I've done all my homework and I stand over the ball, I take those last few moments to slow my heart rate down, which, first of all, I think is super interesting because, if my heart's pounding I can't just in 5 seconds make it slower. I can't just think about not beating your heart as fast. I don't know. I don't have that ability. I can think about my hands not doing this.
I have a very weird way of golfing. It changes drastically throughout but one of the weirder visualization things is my heartbeat is like sonar and it's going and coming back. So it hits the yardage or the whatever target, comes back to my hands and chest because that's what needs to be connected. And then I think about the target, and at the moment impact, everything comes together. And so I'm consistently. So when I get done with golf, I really hate because I could just hear my heartbeat, and it's driving me crazy, and I got to calm down.
See, it's interesting because hearing that really makes me contemplate what's going on in my head when I stand over the ball. And it's for me, it's a little more like a 6-year-old's birthday party
You excited
of just
You-
noise and chaos and like balloons flying everywhere.
Well, like I
Just
practiced
like-
without you the other day, and I stopped doing this.
I love that we can hear Gary when he talks, not at the mic.
You weren't so you weren't or you were doing my fidget pattern.
I stepped away from the fidget.
Yeah, you don't
pattern.
want to do that.
And,
It helps me.
No,
Waggle,
it
waggle.
helped. No, there's a lot from Dan in golf that has made me a better player, hands down. And then the camaraderie of playing with him makes me better. But yeah,
What?
sometimes I'm like,
It's
I
just
miss my Tiger, like,
Like I love it because like sometimes Gary will be like totally in the zone and he'll be like doing that face and I'm like, what are you looking at?
I
He's
look
like,
over
"Shut
at him,
up."
he's like-
yeah.
moving
So
on.
the-
All right, so 2 minutes to say all your favorite things about whatever you want to talk about. I'm gonna start a shot clock, and then I'm gonna throw the hammer when you're done.
No, I mean, I use
He did.
mine on the Tiger Woods and shot clock thing. I can't wait to talk about the hammer thing because that's
One,
going to be a great
2,
as well.
Rich, it's your turn. Go.
He just told you he already went. He did his thing. His
I
turn-
wasn't
like-
listening to Rich. I'm kidding. I love you, Rich.
That's mean.
I know,
That's
but
really
I
mean.
show
Oh,
love through
man.
hate, buddy.
No, but
Oh,
you know, I was gonna, you know, throw in my how about the
Yeah.
obviously the shot clock violation or no, the hammer throw. I mean, you had a shot clock
Yes.
violation, hammer throw. I just love that moment because there was this tension. It was building. It was back and forth. Points were pushing. You know what I mean? Like it was just there was this momentum, and finally, I believe it was after Rory shot. He did something wonderful, and Tiger still had this. There was quite a bit of meat on the bone, and he throws it at Tiger, and it would have been so easy for him to just deny it, you know, because it's not worth it. It's a 2-point swing. This is a long putt. These greens aren't normal greens. This isn't what I've practiced on my
But
entire
he's not a normal person.
life. But the way he accepted that was electric. I loved it. It was so fun. I'm like, this is what this is all about.
and what was so crazy about it is when they threw the hammer down, Rory's putt was half of what Tiger's was. Like
Yeah.
it was half. And so when Tiger accepted it, the thing was Rory had to miss his putt. So not only did Tiger have to make his putt, then Rory's Rory's up to hit he's still going to get the 2 points if he makes his putt. So like it almost was like, hey, don't accept this, give up the 1 point, because not only do I have to make this 20-foot putt, it wasn't a 20-foot putt, but not only do I have to make this really long putt, but Rory's got to miss his half distance
What was it,
putt.
9 or 11 feet?
I don't know, but what it makes me think about is if you were to ever play real golf with Tiger, like we're not
Yeah.
talking cameras, we're talking just like bro golf, which is obviously the dream of so many people.
Everybody.
I'd give
I
up
could-
5 years of my life.
I could just imagine.
Excessive.
Yeah. I had so many things to say. Did
For
hear me,
you,
like,
for you.
I hesitated.
Less
I
Gary.
was like, bypass.
See, love through hate, Rich. Now you're getting it.
Yeah. It'd be among the many things that have taken 5 years off your life. I think Tiger Woods is in for it all. He wants to put money on the whole thing. He wants
Hell
every
yeah, dude.
side bet, front bet, everything in between. You want to push, you want to double it, you want to whatever.
Yes.
I bet he is just in. He just loves it. And I felt like that's what we're seeing a little bit here. We're not seeing necessarily the version of Tiger that is like, I don't know, this stoic, don't say a word, marching down the green, winning majors.
These are major, yeah.
We are seeing the version of Tiger that comes out when no one's looking.
Like the scramble, you know. But going back to the 2-minute thing, Josh, you didn't get it. Your turn. Go ahead.
Oh, I really liked seeing the celebrities there.
Oh yeah.
Who was there? I didn't
there-
see
yeah.
any of them.
There was the biggest name, David Ortiz, MLB Hall of Famer, Boston Red Sox. Everyone knows him as Big Papi.
This is my
Boston
MLB is
strong.
baseball, Dan. So
Got it. Thank you.
yeah, no problem.
baseball.
No, no, thanks.
He's known for, saying, this is our city. you know?
Okay.
he said
And
it,
he said it and they bleeped it.
yeah, they said it and they bleeped it. He did it. But it was what happened in Boston before that
Patriots
happened?
Day, the Boston Marathon bombing.
Yes, that happened.
Oh,
And then also Mike Trout, another MLB player. People are calling him the GOAT. He's a 3-time AL MVP. He plays for the Angels. And then Drake May, the Patriots quarterback.
dead serious. I've never heard of these first 3 people you've just talked about.
Oh my goodness, Dan.
Yeah, and if you said to me like Mike Trout, like what is he known for? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe he's like
Fishing.
yeah, I was gonna say like maybe he's a contributor to like Field and Stream magazine or something. Like,
Oh
who
my
knows?
goodness.
That's a genuine thing, and I feel bad about it. I should know more about stuff.
Then we had Niall Horan from One Direction
Oh
in
yeah,
the
that kid's
building.
cool. I like
And
him.
Noah Kahan. He sings "Dial Drunk," and then you know the other song. I don't remember his.
we
that's
had to
his
look
top
it
song.
up. It was on Spotify, and I already forgot it. Oh, Season of the Sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's a Season of the Sticks.
Are we talking about bowling
again? Nah, it's a song, you know.
All I gotta say is Tom Kim, awesome putting, amazing. Way to like be there for the team. Adam Scott is like everybody's super in shape. It's insane how like good these guys look. Adam Scott making his 32-foot eagle putt. Him from 273 to 6 feet on the par 5 over the that's insane. This whole thing was just perfect.
Also, Tom Kim almost getting the first hole in one.
Hole in one.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
that thing. I just again like him. The way he's watching it, he's like falling to the ground, like whatever, or that one little chip shot that almost went in, and he's like, or out of the bunker or something.
22 years
And he's
old.
like laying on the ground and rolling around. I'm like, this dude was made for this.
Talking to the crowd.
Yeah.
Dude, the picture we have of Tom Kim up right now is like
Yes.
that said the whole night right
Well,
there. He's
remember
like,
when he
"Let's
took all his
go,
clothes
get
off and went
crowd
into the
pumped."
water and hit the shot and like the tour players were making fun of him. He's like,
That was
this
2
is,
years ago.
yeah, they're like, this is your like make or break moment. Where
Yeah.
like, are you gonna be like this guy that does these things, or are you gonna be a golfer?
It was fun. I during the press conference, I had said for a moment, I was like, Tom, dude, you were so much fun to watch. Your energy, everything tonight was a blast, dude. Just thanks for bringing it like that. So I'm going to direct this question to your teammates, which was Tiger Woods and Kevin
Oh,
Kisner.
you finally asked him a question?
Well, I asked collectively, I said, guys, tell me how much you were feeding off of this energy and kind of what Tom brought to the team. And Kisner goes, I'll take this one. And he gave a great answer. He was awesome. It was so good. It was so great. It was so great. And I'm not even saying it like that, but it was just like a funny moment of,
I'm watching it because he
yeah.
sends me him because he was looking up at Tiger with the meta glasses, and for whatever reason, you kept going. I'm like, what are you looking at?
I was looking over for the microphone and like who I had to give it back to.
so that
Because
was
when
just-
you're doing
yeah.
the presser, like you have it,
I
but then you
figured
gotta
something.
get it back to somebody.
And then unless you just had a spasm, but and then Tiger was like looking down it. I'm like this is fun.
I was so mad that I didn't get to capture this moment, and I got to share it right here. When it was all over, and if I would have just pressed the little button on the glasses, we would have it here, but we don't. So you have to believe me. They were all walking out, and they're like, all right, guys, thanks, guys. And that was the end of the press conference. And I was sitting front row. It was my desk, a little walkway, and then the podium. So I'm literally less than 10 feet away from the little presser stand with the microphones. And as they're stepping off the stage and I'm kind of standing up from my seat, we're kind of very close to each other. And I was like, hey, congratulations, guys. And Tiger looked over and looked me like dead in the eye, like straight at me. And he was like, thanks. And then he goes on his way.
Oh,
And I was like,
Gary, that might be better than the fist bump.
but it doesn't exist.
Oh.
There's no video. So it does not, it
I
does
got
not reign
3
supreme.
Tiger Woods fist bumps. I got 2 thank yous from Rory.
I love how
I'm
he's
just trying to
listing
I'm just trying to
his Tiger
rationalize
Woods
my like hurt.
experiences.
I'm just rebuilding my soul like Angry Birds. Dan just like hit it.
I don't know. It was, but again, there's no video. There's no proof. Listen, what did they say? Like send pic or it didn't happen or I don't know, whatever that whole thing is. Did you guys?
I'll tell you one of the cool things about with the hammer and everything like that. So like, last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever, week 3, because this is week 4, right? So week 3, 0 hammer drops at all, Week 4, with the person who created this whole thing, Tiger Woods understands the hammer. I think, and that's one of the reasons why I think he
co-created with
accepted the hammer.
Rory. And so this
Yes.
hammer battle is between the co-creators, which is even more legendary to the story. But
They were
yes.
hammering each other.
Exactly. Well, and the cool thing is I think that they both get the hammer idea.
Yeah.
So they know they got to play it. They know they got to accept it. And just to see how that ended up playing out, and instead of Tiger and Jupiter giving up a point or possibly 2 points if he would have lost, they ended up actually just washing the whole hole out.
Yeah.
Which, like, it just makes it so much fun. Like, that's what the hammer's meant for. And just like, I love TGL. It's
Also,
great.
this is not major champ. Like, if you're not accepting it,
Yeah.
like, come
Look,
on.
play ball.
Dude,
Let's
you're,
go.
you're playing golf with your buddies right now. Like,
But if you don't accept it, you're going to lose a point. And if they would have lost that point
if my
there,
name's
they would
Tiger
have lost the whole
Woods,
thing.
I don't give a shit.
Here's the thing. Did you guys ever see the what was it, like 30 for 30 or whatever that was, that Michael Jordan 10-part documentary, ESPN documentary series? I forgot what it was called.
The
Last
last
Dance.
Last
The
Dance.
Last Dance. That's what it was. And there was like, he's in the locker room throwing quarters with the security guard because he just wants to win everything.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. How can we make a game out of this and how can I win? And that's when we say, no, this isn't a major. But I think that these guys just want to win everything.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Yes.
that is what
Yes.
shows. It's like, so what? Like somebody on TikTok was like, some made up trophy that nobody cares about. It's like, it's not about that. It's
Right.
about, I want to win everything, especially games that are centered around the thing I'm trying to be the best at.
Like,
Like,
if you're sitting at home making fun of a thing, like, shut up.
shut up.
Just shut up.
Just shut up.
Shut up.
Shut up.
And the cool thing is too is I really think TGL has the chance to, like, I mean, obviously we love to see the Rory, we love seeing Tiger, we love seeing all these really big name golfers and stuff like that. But I think that this could actually, so, maybe some of the major winners, maybe some of the PGA Tour players aren't good at simulator golf, because simulator golf is different.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
It totally is.
So what happens if maybe like a Bob does golf, and I'm not saying him, but like, what if you start getting some of these big personalities or something like that start to play, and then we start forming some teams, and they
Could be a team. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
there could be these different collectives that would
Yes.
be insane.
You know who else would be a great team?
Go on.
Gary Dan.
Yeah.
Live Golf Crushers.
And yes, this was brought up to Bryson. I don't know if you guys heard this or not, but it was ran by Bryson. And I didn't hear the entire context of the interview and how it was brought up to him. But I was just kind of reading through the quotes, and Bryson said, that would be interesting, which I agree.
Bring him on.
Yes.
But here's the thing, and I feel like this has to come to an end soon, but we're still in this like weird limbo world where TGL is part owned by the PGA Tour, and nobody's allowed to play nice. We all have to act like we're not friends, and these two different tours. But at some point, I believe we will come to an agreement, hopefully, maybe, who even knows anymore. But if those barriers get broken down, the wall of Berlin, you know what I mean, whatever. And Bryson, I think he would be electric out there. And he brought up such a great point. He goes, I already got a team. I got my 4 guys. We got the Crushers. Like, we do it. We're in. And it really made me think, man, Live Golf would have been so built for this. The entire series is made out of 4-man teams. And in the off season, they go do this crazy stuff. And then during the on season, they go then play outside and tour the rest of the planet. But I think Bryson DeChambeau, you are so absolutely correct on the fact that he would
Bryson
be so
anywhere
fun.
for
Well,
golf
do you know
is
what would
fine.
be cool too? Is like they could have 2 divisions, like MLB, NFL, NBA, NHL. They have 2 different divisions. It would be big enough at that point where you could have the PGA teams,
Yeah, is that like
and then Live Golf teams, and then the World Championship or the championship is the winner of both of those leagues to get a
was
world
that what
champion.
you were telling me? Once
Season
that, like,
2.
the MLB is 2 totally different leagues, but
Yeah,
they call
so-
it one thing.
So is the NFL.
It is. They
Oh
have 2
my
leagues.
God.
So is the NBA.
Oh my god.
So is the
Dan, I
NHL.
love
You
how, like,
oblivious bitch.
you just are realizing this.
I thought there was like some big breakup. I'm like, they're gonna now there's 2 things.
Back
now.
in the
That's weird.
day, the All-Star game used to just be an exhibition because they never played each other. The 2 different divisions.
You know
yeah.
what I
they
haven't
doing?
seen that I want to see? You know how like when the scramble is worth tons of money for like when we're playing, and then like not tons and tons, but like they put
Respectively.
out like 10K. they put out like what 2 foursomes together so nobody could cheat.
Yeah.
I would love to see 4 or 8 PGA players, whatever, out on the hole playing a scramble. Like how much fun would that? be?
Oh, full blown scramble, not alternate shot,
No,
not
just
best ball, nothing else.
scramble.
Like full scramble.
Yeah.
Everybody's hitting from the same spot. I can't imagine. You have 4 tour players that are just in season dire
man.
playing scramble format. You're gonna get some insane stuff that happens. You got
Breaking
4
50 every
tries.
time.
Right. I mean, you got to see 3 other guys throw it out there and see what it does. And it's like, I know what to do here. I know where to go. I have wanted to see that for so long, a professional level, full blown scramble.
And then think about it this way, because there's like a lot of different scrambles that have different like things you could buy, like 3 red bombs. So you
Yeah.
get 3 holes where you could tee off from the red tees. You pay for 3 mulligans. You could pay for the 5-foot rope that continues the shot. So if you hit it within 2 feet on a par 3, you cut 2 feet off and you got a hole in one.
Have you ever, Rich, have you heard of that? Like with the rope that you
Yes.
could buy?
Yes.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, but Rich and our Uncle Bill was telling me, he was like, yeah, we always max out and buy the most rope you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like,
Yeah.
it was like at this one tournament, we had like 28 feet of rope. I'm like, oh my God. Like, you're not even on the green. You're like, it's in. It's in.
Yeah. Hole in
Log it.
one.
Yeah. Log it. Yeah, I would love to see Bryson DeChambeau out there. I think it would be cool. I don't know if we will. Maybe, there is talk, sort of chatters in the, TGL community that they are still exploring what to do with the SoFi Center during the off season of TGL. And I do believe that they are exploring some ideas and ways to use it. So who knows? Maybe we will get like an internet only series of,
That would be so fun.
right, of all these
Oh my God,
different
how fun would that be?
channels. You know what I mean? Like, who knows? And
And
maybe,
then Grant brings Phil, and you're like, well, that's bullshit.
but maybe because Bryson and Phil are now internet golfers
Yeah.
too, outside of their wildly impressive golf careers. Like, maybe that's like, well, they're not live guys, they're internet guys.
You guys
So,
watch
like,
Entourage?
I watched Entourage.
So Ari
yeah.
Gold's like, you bringing Phil? You bring it? I got Woody. Yeah, you brought Phil. All right, whatever. Fine.
Bringing Phil. All right, guys. I don't know.
I'd tell you,
do you have anything to wrap us up with, Rich? Go ahead.
I don't know about full wrap up, but I am really looking forward to when this whole live PGA stops being like completely like just hating each other and all that kind of stuff. Just like everybody loves golf. Yeah, I get you're 2 different companies. Just figure it out,
Just
though.
figure it out. Settle
Just
down.
figure it out. I'm
Just-
tired of all the PGA guys
Ugh.
thinking the live guys are this.
You're
that.
ruining the
Like, just-
holidays. You know what I mean?
Right?
Like all this
Exactly.
bickering and fighting at the dinner table. Just
I want to see
figure it
Bryson
out.
being able to play in TGL.
Joshua.
You know, like it's just I don't know. They just need to figure it out.
Joshua.
I got something that we could wrap up with.
Okay.
Full swing season 3.
Full swing season 3.
Oh,
I
nice.
think that's a wonderful way to
Do you
wrap
want,
up.
You want me to run down these names?
I want you to so badly because I love the way you pronounce certain things. So please do
Wait,
so.
All right.
what is full season?
Full
Full
Swing, the
swing.
Netflix documentary
It's okay.
series.
It's
There's
okay.
been 2 seasons out so far. The first season was like groundbreaking. We went inside the world of golf, flying on the private jets with these guys, seeing their homes, seeing the life behind the players that we see on the tour.
I know what Rich is doing tonight.
Joel Damon became a
Icon.
You're
an
going to be obsessed with
icon.
this show. It's a great show.
It is so fun. Netflix, there's 2 seasons out. Season 2 is fantastic. They just announced season 3. It's coming February 25th on Netflix, and there is a star-studded lineup of players. Josh, take it away.
We got Ludwig Oberg,
Nice.
Keegan Bradley,
Bradley.
Joel Dahman, Bryson DeChambeau, Wyndham Clark, Tony Finau, Ricky Fowler, Adam Hadwin, Minwoo Lee, Minjee Lee, Shane Lowry, Roy McIlroy,
Raw Ray.
Justin Rose, Scotty Scheffler, Neil Shipley, Nick Taylor,
Jeez.
Sahith Theegala, Justin Thomas, Camila Villegas,
Camila Villegas.
Villegas, whatever,
My second favorite
It's my
golfer.
favorite
You
player.
got- Third favorite player.
and
Gotta-
Gary Woodland.
Josh, I'd let you read the phone book to me, and I'd find
I
it.
thought you
entertaining.
said Gary Wood.
Can I read off the drama filled that was already announced, like in the Netflix
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so there's a whole bunch of storylines coming around. Scotty Scheffler's history making run. Rory McIlroy's emotional roller coaster in and out of competition.
Ooh.
Bryson DeChambeau's evolution from anti-hero to fan favorite.
Once
Yeah.
he took the hat off.
Love it.
Keegan Bradley's quest to find redemption after last year's dramatic letdown.
Oh.
Min Woo and Minji Lee trying to make history as the first brother-sister golf tandem in Olympic golf,
Ooh.
That's pretty impressive.
or in Olympic history. Wyndham Clark partners with Mark Wahlberg to take their clothing brand to the next level. Sahith Theegala makes a choice that costs him millions.
Huh.
Gary Woodland fights a return to the sport after battling a brain tumor.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
geez.
then-
Oh,
that's
geez, I didn't know that. That's horrible.
President Cup assistant captain, how do you say that?
What?
Camilo.
No, you just said it,
Camila
Josh.
Villegas.
Oh.
Yeah. Rallies the international team in the wake of a family tragedy, and the events that are featured are all 4 majors,
Nice.
the President's Cup, and they did not announce if the Olympics are going to be in it.
Wow. Well, that's going to be season 3 of full swing. I'm excited. We got a little, I don't even know what the date is today, but we're about a month out, give or
February
take.
25th.
I got to wrap up, Tiger. Will you bring me and then I'll touch your shoes and then I'll take a video and send it to Dan.
You know, one of the I don't even know what he's talking about. But so, do you know what?
Neither did I.
One of the things I'm really excited about this specifically, it's PGA and Live. It's not
Yeah.
just PGA.
It's pro
They're
golf.
like Netflix is just loving golf and golf as a whole.
They're tearing
Like,
down the walls of division in
yes,
the golf
Rich.
community.
Rich, the first season was the Live split.
Well, the first season,
Oh.
like they were in the middle of filming it, and then the Live news broke. And so, like during the season, that all unfolded. It was wild.
Man, that was like not that long ago.
And then, like season 2, they were there on site, like during like Hatgate at the Ryder Cup and all that. Like they're just like they just kind of are there. I mean, obviously, there's always like, is it like this in other sports? I have no clue. Is there always this much going on in other sports?
Well,
Yeah.
No, there's
this
not.
year,
Only golf is exciting.
there's going to be a whole episode by itself probably on Scheffler's arrest.
They didn't mention that, and I was curious. Do you think? Well, I guess if they were
Historic
covering all the
run, yeah.
majors, they were covering all the majors.
and his historic run.
Oh my
Yeah.
God!
The only thing which is weird, Tiger Woods is not mentioned at all here.
Yeah,
Because
I
they
noticed
can't
that.
get him to be on the thing.
He's like, "Hey, we're doing the show. It's a big hit." He's like, "I don't give a shit."
Because he broke a
Okay.
record last year.
I'm
they'll
sure
He
probably-
breaks a record every year, but what was the record? I don't
It
know.
was the
He
most
breaks the
consecutive
record
cuts
every year.
made at the Masters.
Oh, wasn't
Oh.
it? I'm gonna guess.
All right.
15.
Hey, before we go, just before the show started, I saw Rory McIlroy made his second hole-in-one during professional golf.
Probably like 20 something.
That was kind of exciting. Good for Rory. It was like 112 yards out. You know, nothing crazy long, but every hole-in-one's not easy. And he went. It was like the first.
Boom.
Yeah, dunked it straight in. Like it wasn't like a bounce, roll, trickle, pin, all this other stuff. It was just like dunk in the hole. So after 10 years of playing on the PGA Tour and all that, he got his first last year, and now comes back a year later and does it again. So good for you, Rory.
First tournament coming
Hopefully,
back.
you buy every single person who watched that tournament a round of drinks, because that's the stupidest rule in golf. Anyway, that's it, guys. Got anything else? Did I forget anything? All the players were out at Pebble Beach this weekend. Jack Nicklaus had said, if I had only one round of golf left in me, I would play it at Pebble.
Really?
So there's something special about that place. The Riv was moved to Torrey Pines. Of course, that's Tiger Woods' tournament of sorts. He also has the Hero, but he's got Riv. They're all Tiger Woods tournaments. But people thought it was interesting because he has such a phenomenal historical record at Torrey Pines. I'm like, settle down, guys. Like, listen.
I think California's like the second most winningest state he's won it.
I think
besides
this is so funny.
Uh-oh.
Tiger has never won the Genesis, but he runs the tournament.
True.
Well, you know what they say. If you can't beat them, join them. He always told me this, but for some reason, he always tucked me away in his green jacket. Gary, you look confused.
I was.
Yes. Where I'm from, the green jackets are given out to those who are worthy of winning a tournament called the Masters.
Oh, God.
What? You've never been? But you've heard of it, right?
You don't have to take that.
I'd almost want to go to TGL more than the Masters.
Oh man.
I'm waiting for the day that Gary comes in with a baseball bat. He's like, I'm sick of you. Enough.
How about the video? Never
Dude,
mind. Moving on.
Contact.
All right, I'm
Not
calling Cap
needed.
real quick though. That like I biggest fan of TGL.
Yeah.
Go next week. Super excited. There is zero chance that Gary wants to go to TGL over the Masters.
If I
Zero.
had to talk to Tiger and be like, if like that would,
Ooh, that is an
Well, wait.
interesting.
Now you're adding to it though. That's not what you said. You said I want to go to TGL versus go to the Masters. Well, yeah. I mean, if I could,
well,
if
fine,
I
stay
could,
home. I'll go and I see if I liked it, and then bring me the and then we'll,
Yeah, that's a
Zero
We have to bring Gary to both, and then he can tell us which one was better. All right, guys, we got to get out of here. That's it for this week's show. We'll see you next time right here on Dance Golf.